So my good friends Kelly and Chris wanted us to give you all an activation, and you'll just see how amazing Kelly and Chris are, unparalleled in this world. And first part of this video, I explain, I think, critical issues for people to understand factors that have led into this period of now and why this activation is needed. You're just gonna love it. So hello to everyone who just joined us. We are doing the dragon activation. So what we wanted to do in today's activation was actually give people an activation where we will preset their body, so to speak, to assimilate for the new energy that's coming in. It's really an activation for us to give you our love and intention for you to absorb the energy in the most heartfelt way, to help you humanity learn to flow with the new energy that's going to be coming in. So with that, I do want to introduce Chris and Kelly, and Dana's going to help us with the administration and zero and microphone out people who forget to microphone their thing. So the background information that I sent you was a write-up about the 7 densities of all beings and the concepts of service to self and service to others. They are really key. I'm not going to talk about them here because that really is like a big book that Raw wrote. And but you know, it's really useful for people to understand the concept, because I summed it up here where I said there are no evil ETs or gods, only those embodying service to self in higher density. There are no good ETs or gods, only those embodying service to others in higher density. Once you guys have that foundational knowledge, it really will help you guys understand how this all works, not just for Earth, but for the universe. So I really encourage you to look at that cheat sheet. Read the book is even better. Read the book, The Law of One by Channel Being Raw. But you know, at least read the cheat sheet. And then in addition to that, I gave folks a summary of the Lemurian crystal grid work activation, which is something that we're going to do here. I'm going to walk you guys through it, but I wanted you guys to have it on paper so that you can do it at your own leisure anytime afterwards. It's a beautiful meditation that weaves you through with your Lemurian crystal. And if I forget, you know, if you brought a crystal, Lemurian crystal, it's good to have that, because we are going to be taking the Lemurian crystal and weaving it with that meditation. But I wrote out the meditation for people so that you can do it afterwards at your own time and leisure. And we're going to be discussing that more. So, so with that, welcome everyone. And I think I am on top. Oh, so the one thing I want to do is I want to just quickly meditate and kind of open a container. And what we can do is just quickly just think of all your spirit guides, and you put them into a cosmic cocktail party. And in that cocktail party, they are meeting the spirit guides of everyone here. So you have all these galactic spirit guides, all these angelic spirit guides, all these elemental spirit guides, and they're all mixing together in this big cocktail party out there that we're introducing them to each other. So we're just expanding the cosmic network of all these spirit guides that have been helping us out. So they're now all in touch, and they all have each other's telephone numbers. They can text each other. So they're all communicating and doing what needs to be done, and helping us for our benefit of, you know, love and growth. So now that that's done, we actually have a lot to cover. And, you know, I hope you guys will forgive us if we go a little bit over, because as you see, these are all very important topics, and the activation takes about 20 minutes. So, you know, I'm just saying, if we go over, we might have to go over, because these are all important topics, and all these topics feed into the activation. I mean, these are all important topics that on its own, but it builds into why we're doing this activation. So with that, I'm going to start by talking about Earth. Earth has 5 resets. I'm going to talk about the first 2 resets, and I'm going to talk about all 5 resets because that brings us to here and now. And so the first reset on Earth was called the Lemurian age. It was eternal, and it was primordial Earth, and there was really no physical civilizations. It was more that various galactic beings were experimenting. I mean, if you guys don't know this, Earth is a garden, and the ETs and angels are the gardeners, right? So it's all a big experiment on Earth, and the very first phase was the Lemurian age, and they were non-physical beings. There were physical beings from all over the universe who invested on Earth, and the beings there. Uh, Think of it as the energetic foundation of future civilizations. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. That's the first phase of Earth, or the first reset. The second phase of Earth was the Hyperborean age. It's called the second root age. This is what I call interesting because this is the time of the dragons. This is actually the highlight and the apex of the dragons. So we have these life beings on Earth, but the dragons were number 1. They were 3rd density beings who had to rise into 4th density beings. They were beautiful beings known for their wisdom and intellect. That's what they were in the highlight of their day. And they were marvelous, powerful, beautiful beings that had so much wisdom and knowledge. That was always the treasure of the dragons, was their wisdom and knowledge. Their time came and went with the second phase of evolution for life on Earth. One note is that very few of the dragons decided not to graduate. A few of the dragons decided to stay into 3rd density, and while all their other colleagues and brothers and sisters, they graduate, a few stayed behind. And the reason why they stayed behind is that those few dragons that stayed behind, they shifted densities and dimensions and looked at timelines. And for those that stayed behind, they foresaw that they would have a love of their life in the 3rd incarnation during the land of Lemuria. In other words, they stayed behind for love. They decided not to graduate to a higher density because they decided to stay into their density just so that they can be with their future love, who is in the next era of Lemuria. So beautiful. I mean, it's just beautiful. And now we're going to go to the third phase, which is the phases of Lemuria. Lemuria was sponsored basically by the Palladians. They star-seeded a lot of the Lemurians. It was supposed to be heaven on earth. It was an experiment. The Lemurians had this thing though. They really focused on their top 3 chakras. They knew how to astral travel, how to have the third eye open. They were really great on the top 3 chakras. It was a female energy dominated society. Female dominated society means that it was all done by intuition, not by logic, intuition. It was done by curves. It was done by nature. It was done by the top 3 chakras. The problem with that is that that's not balanced. They neglected their bottom three chakras. The bottom three chakras are the bottom human chakras. And of course, the key is always to take your heart chakra to balance the top three chakras with the bottom three chakras with the heart. So the Lemurians didn't do that. They focused on their top three chakras, which and they were overly invested in female energy. I hear that it was a completely female dominated society, that they made all the decisions, and the only thing that the males were supposed to do is hunt fish and cook it. That was the only thing that the males can do, is hunt, get the fish and cook it. Everything else was all female decision. So that that sounds good in some ways. But but ultimately there is a there is an imbalance with that, right? So the Lemurians had their rise and fall, and they had to fall because there was imbalance. Later on, we're going to get to a story about one particular Lemurian and her dragon and the crystal, and it's going to illustrate a story for many in that time, but we'll get there later. So you understand that Lemurian society was great, but it was flawed. It was flawed because it did not balance its bottom three chakras, the human energies, the human needs. And when anything is imbalanced, it has to be reset. Okay? So with that, then came the rise of Atlantis. The rise of Atlantis came during the fall of Lemuria. So there was an overlap here where both those civilizations overlapped. Now, Atlantis. Oh, wait. Before I leave Lemuria, I got to tell you about the creation of the Earth grids. So during Lemuria, all the beings decided that, hey, we're going to have this race of Lemurians, and they are going to, do it. They're going to raise into the fourth density. And what they created was a grid around Earth to capture the love light that the Lemurians would put out to the grid. So it's a grid to capture the love light of the Lemurians that were shooting out love and from the heart. That grid was fully intact around Earth. However, also during the time of Lemuria, there were Lemurians who were service to self. Again, you got to read the readout that I gave people. There's service to self versus service to others. Most of the Lemurians were service to others, but a few powerful ones were service to self. The service to self ones, because they were service to self, decided to erect a false grid, a false matrix around Earth that captured fear, that captured control, that prevented the love light to hit the original love light grid. They did that for service to self reasons, right? Because service to self beings get power by controlling others. They get power by dominance. So, they did it for service to self. So when that grid went up, that also caused the downfall of Lemuria, right? Because then the whole purpose of capturing the love light of the Lemurians got blocked because of that grid. So when that grid went up, then that was like, boom, downfall of Lemuria. The love light grid of original Earth is blocked. So now we have this false grid that absorbs all fear, worries, and problems, and feeds the service to self beings. So, so the Lemurian society fell, and during that time that it fell, there was also the rise of Atlantis, the Atlantis civilization. The rise of Atlantis civilization was the opposite now. It became a male-dominated society. it became a society that pushed down all the feminine energy, meaning that if someone said, oh, I got it by intuition, they said, oh, that's just hocus pocus, that's nonsense. We believe in logic, intelligence, facts and figures, and they were really good at it. They built this beautiful society. It was just purely logic, information, um, logic, control, straight lines instead of curves, and it was all male energy. It was male energy dominant. Uh, it was also service to self, right? Because by that time, that grid of the service to self um, got up, and the Atlantean society um, with this male energy of control, dominance, success at all costs, um, that meant that those who are service to self would kind of profit because it becomes a snowball that supports service to self and logic, dominance, and control. So when that happens, guess what? There's imbalance. It becomes a society where it's all male energy and there's imbalance. And when there's imbalance, the universe is going to say, reset. You guys are too far off on the male energy and we need to reset you. Just like the Lemurians were too far off in the female energy and needed to be reset. So it's the same logic that Atlanteans were into power, control, and logic, and that's how they built their civilizations on. Now,
Daryl, I have a question for
sure.
I have a question for you. You mentioned the Lemurians focused on the 3 chakras above the heart. So is there something unique with the Atlanteans?
Yeah, he said
Were they focused on a different
the
set of chakras?
Yeah, the Lanians on the opposite end focus on the bottom 3, right? As a society, they focus on the individual survival needs. They've on the creative needs of the individual, and then of the individualization of the solar plex chakra. So the Atlanteans did the opposite. They focused on the bottom needs instead of the top 3 chakras. And again, the secret sauce and the key for both society is your heart chakra. Because if your heart chakra is lit up, it's the key that will flow things. But neither of them had enough opening in their heart chakra to flow it through. And both of them were focused on one continuum end and then the other continuum end. So yeah, that's a very good point. The Atlanteans focus on their bottom 3 chakras and kind of like their top 3. And I gotta say also that even within the Lemurians and the Atlanteans, I'm generalizing, right? Because there are going to be individuals in both of those societies that had them flowing, but they were isolated individuals. I'm just talking about in general the vibration of the society. So I'm generalizing there so people can understand it. But therefore, on the Atlanteans, they had to fall, right? In balance. So when they fell, let's see how I'm doing for time. Okay, when they fell, it was written in all of the destinies that then mankind, the children of Atlantis and the children of Lemuria would have the age of Aquarius to see if they were going to make it. Meaning that no one in the universe, all the creators, all the ETs, all the angels, all the various other dimensional beings that have invested on Earth, they were in a wait mode of saying, the architects of the universe said this. They said, all right, all the ETs, all the angels, off Earth. You got to let the humanoids either make it or fail on their own, because you got to give them free sovereignty to make their own free will. So there was a period of time where no one knew if humanity was going to make it, because in order to make it, we had to have our own self-sovereignty as individuals and as a collective to decide to balance the male and the female energy. And that was the big question throughout the universe, whether or not the humans would make it and be able to do that. But it was foretold. It was foretold, and you can read this by all the ancient civilization through the world. It was foretold that the best chance of humanoids making it would be during the age of Aquarius. So you can read documents of this for like 24,000 years that we've been waiting for this time during the age of Aquarius because that would be the best time for us to make it. And the fact of it is that we did make it. I mean, I'll tell you right now, we already made it. And that the pivotal point was in this century, and it was. I'm just gonna, there are a lot of little factors and a lot of dates that fit, but one key factor was the harmonic conversion of 1987. That was the first time that there was a rural deliberate intention to unite together, to see us as one. And that was like the tipping point that made us on this path that we're going to make it. Right now, we're at this place where we just come out the door and we're just clear to everyone with the energies that's coming through that we made it. This has been in the makings for, eons and eons. It's really that epic. It's really, really that epic. And the Age of Aquarius is a time of rising consciousness, of spiritual awakening, and of connecting with our cosmic family. That is what we are doing now during the Age of Aquarius. So it's a beautiful thing, and that's where we're at right now. So I am now going to shift to a true story, because I'm going to shift to a true story of the Lemurian priestess, the dragon, and the crystal. So I'm going to tell you one story, but it's illustrative of many stories. So there's a beautiful Lemurian priestess. She was around toward the end of Lemuria. She had all of her powers. She can foresee timelines. She can play with multi-dimensionality. She can shift. She had all her talents. She also had her dragon. Her dragon loved her so much that her dragon chose not to graduate into the fourth density during the time of the dragons. Her dragon loved her so much that it stayed behind into this earth realm just so that it can be with this Lemurian priestess. That's how much the dragon loved the priestess. The dragon foresaw the timeline of the third wave and said, oh, that's where I will meet the priestess. And for that, I will not graduate. I will not shift into a higher density. I will stay in the third density just to be with my love, the Lemurian priestess. As they both sat there together and they looked at timelines, because this is during the fall of Lemuria, and this is during the rise of Atlantis. They looked at the two most probable timelines. And the first timeline was this. The Lemurian priestess would be captured by the Atlanteans, because the Atlanteans, who pride logic and technology, knew that Lemurian priestesses had crystals developed in their body. There are many of you now who have crystals in your body. I know who you are, but the Lemurian priestess knew that on one timeline, the Atlanteans would capture her, they would torture her, and they would carve the Lemurian crystal out of her body and they would experiment with it. Because the Atlanteans were very high in logic, technology, and knowledge. They knew how to genetically do that. They knew how to prize science over life, right? Because we are now doing that on our human society. We are saying for the sake of science, we will do this to this animal. We would torture this animal because of the sake of science. We are basically doing what the Atlanteans did with the same justifications. So the Atlanteans in the timeline took the Lemurian priestess and they tortured her and they killed her and they took the crystal out to implant it into an Atlantean to find out what makes it tick. Can I get Atlantean to have those supernatural powers that the Lemurian priestess had? So they did those experiments and they did it not just to her, but to her sisters. All of the Lemurian priestesses that they were able to capture, they carved their crystals out of their body, they experimented on them, and they implanted the crystals into their Atlanteans to see if it would work. Of course, it did not work because that's not how it works. It has to do with divine connection. But the Atlanteans were very hungry for logic and technology. They were very good at gene splicing, and they could slice various animals together. And we're going to talk about that later on. So that was the timeline number one that the dragon and the Lemurian priestess foresaw. The other timeline that the dragon and the Lemurian priestess saw was the priestess can take her knowledge, her wisdom, and her love, and she can infuse it into a Lemurian crystal. She can infuse her essence into a Lemurian crystal. And she can make a deal with the dragon that loved her. She can make a deal that he would take her essence, he would take her crystals, and he would swallow it into his body. And he can swallow it into his body, and then he will dive deep into the earth and he will bury himself. And he will bury himself for centuries and eons, just so that when his dead body has corroded and decayed, the Lemurian priestess's soul and essence will one day be found in a Lemurian crystal and will one day be found during the Age of Aquarius and one day be used to help humanity raise into the fourth density. That is the love of the crystal. I mean, the crystal itself is also a being. The crystal had to agree to have that happen. So that is the route. That was the wisest thing to do. And that is the story of the Lemurian priestess, the dragon, and the crystal. So love your crystal because a lot has gone into it. A lot of love, knowledge, and has gone into your Lemurian crystal. So with that, I am going to now go into the story of the mermaid, the centaur, and the Atlantean. There was once a beautiful mermaid. She lived in a private lake. She was prized for her beauty, and Atlanteans came from all over to look at her. In the same estate, there was a handsome, powerful centaur who, with his muscles, worked the fields and worked for the owner of the land. One day, it was actually during sunrise and sunset was the only time they could meet together, and they fell in love during those 2 points of time. It's the only point in time that they had freedom for themselves, and they met and they fell in love during sunrise and sunset. Because the other times they had other duties. The story of the mermaid and the centaur illustrates a bigger issue with the Atlanteans. So the Atlantean owned the mermaid. The Atlantean owned the centaur. That's because Atlanteans were so gifted in their genetic research, so gifted and wise in their intelligence and logic, that they can take two animals and meld them together. Some did this from the heart and from the heart of creativities. Many Atlanteans did this for a more foolish purpose. They did it to have slaves. They did it because if they can have a part human and part animal, then they can have justification that it's not human. It has no human rights. So the mermaid was the creation of the Atlantean. The centaur was the creation of the Atlantean. Therefore, they were property. Therefore, they had no rights to fall in love. Therefore, it illustrates to you what was an abomination of nature in that man does not have the right to tinker with the souls of taking a third density being and melding it with a second density being. That's just against the law of densities. The true Atlanteans had the technology to do it. They had the knowledge to do it, but it was not the right thing to do. As you can see, no one should have slavery or dominion over another. This is a planet of love and light and oneness. When you do that, you create separation. And when you do that, the universe is going to reset you. You know you cannot have imbalance this way. It was too much male energy. It was too much logic, control, and knowledge. You can have the intelligence to do that, but if you don't have your heart chakra lit up, things will not work out. So the universe called for a rebalance. The universe called for a resetting, and the universe called for destruction of Atlantis. The destruction of Atlantis came in 3 waves. There were 3 huge world floods that flooded Atlantis. The world flood that humans know about, that's referenced in the Bible, that was actually the last flood. That was actually the smallest flood. The first 2 floods of Atlantis were the great floods. And they were the ones that totally wiped out the Atlantean society. Again, when there's imbalance, things have to be reset. And that was what was needed for the Atlanteans. Now, I know that many of you here have Lemurian and Atlantean roots. I know that many of you have psychic powers that are coming online. I know that many of you have psychic powers that are not coming online. One of the reasons why if this is you, that your powers have not come online is that probably in a previous past life as a Lemurian priestess or an Atlantean priestess, you were in a situation where your powers came online, but it did not work out well for you. You got tortured, you got killed, your family did. So this is also something that happened was that the Lemurians, the priestess that were there, they tried to prevent their fall. The Atlanteans, priests and priestesses, they tried to prevent their fall. They could not because it was destiny, but those incarnations have guilt that they weren't able to prevent the fall. They have guilt that they had these powers, but they, with their intention, could not prevent the fall of Lemuria. They, with their intention, could not prevent the fall of Atlantis. So some people now who innately have powers do not show their powers because they said a soul vow to themselves that I got fucked up before with my powers. I don't want my powers to ever come online again. So if that is you, and I kind of know who you are, what you need to do is just set the intention of talking to your past self. Just set the intention that you release your vow, you release the trauma, that you appreciate that everything is perfect, that what you went through is perfect. What you went through was necessary. What you went through was for now, so that you can be where you are now, so that humanity can be where it is now, so that we can all work together to raise humanity into the fourth density. With that acknowledgement, release, and permission, you can now get your psychic skills to come forefront because you have it. You've always had it. You just had a subconscious vow to prevent it from showing up. So have that internal discussion with yourself. Turn on your green heart chakra of love, forgiveness, of love and forgiveness for yourself. And then that will make your top three chakras flow with your bottom three chakras. And with that comes your spiritual gifts and also your life on earth. So let me stop there and ask if people have any questions. Um, and then if people do, we'll take the questions. If not, then we'll go into the activations. I know what I said is pretty heavy stuff. It's I think it's beautiful. It's sad, but it's beautiful. I think it's more beautiful than sad. But I think it helps people to know. It helps people to know the past, and it helps people to know the future, the potential future. So everything I said is with the love in my heart, and it's what I get, and it's what I get that I should tell people for them to know. Um, so okay, if you want to think of a question or raise your hand, whatever's fine. Otherwise, um, you know, I'll probably take 30 seconds just to drink some water. Because okay, Chris and Kelly, why don't you talk about setting the intention while I get some water, and then we're going to start off the activation with me doing the Lemurian weave, right? The grit work. So again, if you guys don't have your Lemurian crystal, uh, bring it with you. If you don't have a crystal, there's actually a trick to this too. It's okay if you don't have a crystal with you. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the crystal in your pineal gland. Huh? You guys didn't know that you guys have a crystal in your pineal gland, right? And we're gonna substitute a physical crystal with the crystal in your pineal gland. So don't worry if you don't have a crystal. But um, Chris and Kelly, why don't you start by telling us like the intention, and we can get into that, and then we're just going to go organically. Chris and Kelly and I have never done this together, so it's all totally organic. Take it away, Chris and Kelly.
Oh, wait, one second though. Jamie's got a question that she wrote.
Okay.
How would one be able to feel into it if they have a Lemurian crystals in their palms?
Thanks, Kelly.
Feel into it. Okay. So the Lemurian crystal has been infused with information. The beautiful thing about Lemurian crystal is that it's it works both ways, meaning that if you hold it and it feels like it needs that you need information, it will download information to you. If it feels that you have information to give, it will suck up the information. It will make a copy of it into the Lemurian crystal so that later on it can give your information to other people. It's kind of like a computer thumb drive. All you got to do to suck up the energy is that you can just put it in, you have a palm chakra. You just place it in your palm and it just automatically absorbs the wisdom, the knowledge into your body. Now, the wisdom and the knowledge, you got to understand, it's not for your mind, it's for your inner self, meaning that it's not like you're going to download how to create centaurs and mermaids. No, no, no. It's information that goes into your inner self, and your inner self will take that information and release it to your logical mind in the perfect timing and amount that your human ego self will allow. So all you really have to do, Jamie, is just put it in your palm and just set the intention of absorbing the energy. You know, and another trick that I hear is that you can actually take it and put on your third eye and use it like a key. Yeah, yeah. If you're out in public, I say do the hot palm technique because you won't look that weird. But if you really want to do it, you can put your your Lemurian crystal like a key onto your third eye and have it absorb that way. But you know, in this group, you can probably do that. People aren't going to think you're too weird, but in public, they're going to think you're really, really weird. uh, um, okay, Steve, you have a question?
Thanks, Daryl.
Yes, Daryl. I just was wondering, like, how does one awaken their, intuitive or, these dormant abilities if you don't know if you have them or not? And you always want to bring this on to help people with the rest of the lifetime before it finishes. Like I spoke to Peter, and he just says a lot of of course the clearing, but how do you break the mindset to do this? Like if I'm one of the people that maybe made that choice not to use the abilities and, like you said right now, release it and bring it out. Thank you.
Yeah. So two parts to your answer. So the first part is yes, if you are one who made that vow before, you do just have a conversation with your previous self and say, look, I acknowledge that that happened. I released my vow. You just have that conversation. Okay. And then the second part to your answer is that as with everything, the way you get it is you don't want it. You don't mandate and effort it. You just let it be. It's like with abundance. You don't say, I need $1 billion. Once you do that, you have put out a mandate to outcome and you have now decreased it. The way you manifest anything, be it abundance, be it psychic powers, is that you just put out the intention. I want my psychic powers to come online, and then you forget about it. You do not go every day, go, where's my psychic powers? Because the minute you're doing that, you're mandating an outcome. You're not letting the universe flow to you what the universe wants to flow to you. So the secret to manifesting anything, be it money or be it psychic powers, is that you put out your positive intention and you forget about it. You just have faith that the universe will provide it to you. Because the universe or your inner self knows the perfect timing and amount to give it to you. Just because your ego self says that I want my psychic powers now and I want it to help people around the world, that's your ego talking. That's not your inner self. Your inner self, your inner self has it all planned for you, and your inner self knows what's best for you. If it wants you to have $1 billion, you would have $1 billion now. If it wants you to have all your psychic powers, you would have all your psychic powers now. So just trust that your inner self has your whole life mapped out and will flow it to you. You do not need to effort and struggle and say, I need it now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Do you feel there's anything inside your knowing that I do have this, that it will come at this time when everything's rising?
I don't like to give individual information because because for me personally, the minute for me, when I know it's true, it's when it just comes to me without anyone asking for me. It's
Oh,
unsolicited answers, and that's what comes
yes,
to
yes.
me. And then
Mm,
when people ask me about them, then that's kind of like putting pressure on me to ask, and that's not it flowing to me. So it's
mm,
kind of corrupt if I tell you that, but I will tell you, and I will tell all people that what you just asked there, the answer to that is within. The answer to that is for you to meditate and for you to talk to your inner self. That's how you find out if your abilities are going to come online. That's the clearest channel for everything. It's for you, for all of us to meditate and ask us, our inner self, for the information, because that's who's writing your script of your life.
okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Daryl. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? And then if not, then we can start with the activations. Chris and Kelly, do you want to start with the intention or something?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take the lead on that. Thank you, Daryl. You did a beautiful job. Thank you. And thank you for organizing all
Okay.
this. Truly amazing.
great.
So you're amazing. So we're going to set our attention. So if everybody can just close your eyes and imagine green represents your heart chakra. So just surround yourself in a bubble of light green light. Just surround your whole body in light green light. We set this intention based in love. We invite and thank our inner selves, spirit guides, and source. Thank you for protecting, guiding, and providing, and always saying yes. Thank you, and our hearts are full of gratitude to the dragons, Lemurians, Atlanteans, and all forms of consciousness, crystals, and so many others for your part of the process and resets. We embark upon today this clearing and activating. We release what no longer serves us, and we allow light language to come through beautifully. Let us make room and pave ways for the new codes that are ready for us at this time and for future times as we raise our vibration and the vibration to humanity. Help us reconnect Gaia with the sun, the moon, and the rest of the universe, and anchor humanity with her love. Let us connect, play, expand in love, authenticity, and joy. Thank you for blessing us with expansion and, of course, fun. So be it.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to tell people a little technicality, and that is that do whatever feels right for you. In this or any activations, do what feels right for you. You can lie down, or you can sit up with your eyes closed, or you can actually have your eyes open. You can actually have your eyes open and watch the screen, because I'll tell you a little secret that not too many people know, that hearing is one way of receiving the vibration. But you can also look at your screen and see us do hand mudras. That is also vibration for your body to absorb. You can actually look into our eyes or anyone's eyes and receive activations by looking into their eyes. That's actually what Jesus did, right? So those of you who are a big fan of Jesus, that's what Jesus' technology was, because you read about people used to look in his eyes, and his name was really Yeshua, and he had these beautiful brown eyes, and that's how he gave their activation to them, through his eyes. Um, so my favorite technique, if you ever want an activation from me, is you look at my smile. My smile will give you activations. Along with any language, along with my hand mudras, it's not one or the other. It's and. The answer to everything in the universe is yes and. So you do not need to just pick one technique. You can pick a whole bunch of techniques, whatever feels right for you. So as we're doing this, you can close your eyes and meditate, or you can watch the screen. It's whatever you want to do. You can join us in hand mudras. You can join us in light language because I know who you guys are. I know several of you are very accomplished in light language. You're all muted, so don't worry that you're going to interfere with the activation here. And you can join us in hand mudras too. If that's your thing, if that's your calling, do it. This is a safe space to express yourself. And the way you rise in your density, the way you rise in your perspective is to express yourself, is your authenticity, is for you to be who you are. And if you are one who practices light language, show that to the world, show that to yourself. If you are one that practices hand mudras, don't be ashamed, show it to yourself. I was talking to Ilham and we were saying that, oh, if you feel it, do it on the bus. Do it to show people, oh, that might not be safe, but screw them, just do it because it's there and it's part of you and it's a lot of fun and you're expressing yourself and you're giving codes to people. You're spreading love with these codes, so just do that. And then, again, my favorite technique is just smile. When you smile, you are passing on codes to people. You are raising their vibration. You are giving them codes by your smile. And your smile triggers their smile, and their smiles trigger someone else's smile. It's all about raising the vibration of humanity. So there's no one way of getting activations. Do what feels good to you. So with that, we're going to first start by me giving the Lemurian grid work. And this was actually channeled by the Lemurian Grandmaster Aureus. And one of these days, I think I wrote you guys some background about it, but this is a real multi-dimensional being. And he gave me this channeling to give to folks. And it's about weaving a grid. It's about weaving 3 grids. It's about weaving a grid for you. It's about weaving a grid for humanity. And it's about weaving a grid for Gaia to put her back on the cosmic quilt of her solar family with her sister moon, her brother and sister planets, and her father sun. So that is the impact that we will be doing with our Lemurian weave here. So if you have a Lemurian crystal, I want you to put it in your hand. If you don't, then I want you to picture taking your crystal out of your pineal gland, because believe me, science will one day find that there is a crystal in your pineal gland. And I want you to just mentally take that, your crystal. I want you to mentally know and picture golden threads from the universe coming into your crown chakra. And as it comes into your crown chakra, I want you to take those golden thread and I want you to thread your Lemurian crystal like a needle with those golden threads. I then want you to take your Lemurian crystal and I want you to put it through your root chakra. Then I want you to take it and punch it through to earth. I want you to punch it through Middle Earth, deep, deep, deep into Gaia, deep into Mother Gaia. Then I want you to take that Lemurian crystal with this gold thread. I want you to wrap it around Gaia's pink crystal in the center of her heart. Then you're going to wrap it around, pierce it, and thread it through that crystal. And then I want you to take it back up to your body. I want to go up, 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 past the earth, and now back into your body through your root chakra. From there, we're going to do a spiral. We're going to take that from the root chakra, take it up your right side, and then pierce it through your crown chakra. Thread it through your crown chakra. Then I want you to then take it through your left side down and thread it through your sacral chakra. And then I want you to take it through your right side up and thread it through your third eye chakra. And then I want you to take it down through your left side and then thread it through your solar plex chakra. And then I want you to take it up through your right side and then thread it through your throat chakra. And then I want you to take it down your left side and thread it through your heart chakra. From your heart chakra, and now we're completely connected to Gaia, we're going to do something for Gaia. We are going to take that Lemurian crystal and we're going to shoot it out of our heart chakra up toward the air. We're going to shoot it up, up, up toward the night. We're going to shoot it up, up, and we're going to thread the pearl moon, her sister. We're going to shoot it through and thread the pearl moon to reach her father's sun. We're going to take our Lemurian crystal with its golden thread and we're going to place it into the center of the sun. With that, we have now weaved a connection, a grid for us to all be together for ourselves, for humanity, and for Gaia to be back with her family in the proper quilt where she should be with her cosmic family. We do that with our love and our intention and our gratitude for what Gaia has done for us. Take a couple of deep breaths and just let it settle. Feel the appreciation and gratitude that you have for yourself, that you have for humanity, that you have for Gaia. Okay, so now Chris and Kelly and I are going to go into our states and we're going to set the intention of giving you guys all our love and the intention of helping us all prepare for the incoming energies of September, for the incoming energies that will help humanity raise into the fourth density after this long, long, long adventure that we've had on Earth, past through all the resets. This is the one that we're going to make it. This is the one that we've been waiting for. Oh. Lucky way. Lucky way. Lucky way.
Shia Nishikia, Orayana Shikiru Sikia, Anara Isokono, Amarataya, Shikana, Open Awarikuno, Arati anini na 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 chikado koni dan the koni rono. Ta 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 shigo like tiki rotono. Nakai nana. Ora shiki rotono. Tkona wa.
Yeah.
Sorotoki ashikana. Shukono. Aria dono.
Akana Shana
See.
Kisatina Kutia Nananai Kia Nuash Anuahua Shananaki Sietu Ka Washa Yeta Yanaya Yetieshu Yana Ushikisa Iki Okaya Nana Shasa Yatsuchu.
I see a big black ball of obsidian. It's huge. It's like the size of a house. And a beautiful sunrise coming up. It's an red, orange, yellow sky coming up. And on the other side of that obsidian ball is this big green dragon, and he's just leaning on it, just leaning his shoulder, his leg crossed, smiling. Rashikono, Isiki Rodana, Isakana Ish, Rokuna,
Shakasa.
Sakania.
Yetutika.
And it's beautiful overhead circling it. This beautiful phoenix dragon, a rainbow dragon, purple dragon, this black dragon with beautiful maroon reddish tips on its wings, and lying in a beautiful circle overhead. Rochukunai kanai tananana. Shananana, Ochukunai, Sakila, Nananana, Chikorona, Shikor, Chikianana, Aishana. There's many pristine galactic ships, huge, massive, and they're perfect in their metal-ish. It's weird. I don't even know how to describe it, but we have an audience. Many times. Rotokono ishi rotana. Seiko no ikana hirotono. This white two-headed dragon. Ishikorona. One head of a fox. Oh God, the love. Chikono ikana hirotono. He's Aratani, and she loves us so much. She's saying, I love you. I love you all. Orochikina. Iraki huwe.
Shananana kida kido kinawa.
Sokonai, so yeah,
Shinikiwa.
Shewa.
Shiwa.
Queen Shewa.
Yana.
Oh my God.
Yana.
She is hugging all of us. I can feel
Yeah.
like this big grandmother hug from behind your back, just arms wrapped around you, just this warmth and
Queen
love.
Shiwa is the spirit of Lake Titicaca. She
Oh,
is where the water meets the sky. She is the guardian of Lake Titicaca. She is
Yeah,
she has been there since the beginning of time. We honor her.
She's so happy. It's making me cry.
Yeah, she was. Yana,
Pero Shakira, so kanina, so long, I know. It's been so long.
Yes,
It's okay. It's okay. Shakira, kono, no kachikiro ta. So, yeah, we love you too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, question, yeah, nasty.
Oh, guys, this love. Wow. I'm so grateful to be doing this with all of you. Rotana Kochikian. We're gonna clear now. The flames of the dragons are coming in. Big clearing. The fires across the land. Multi-dimensional clearing. Healings. If you choose to accept this gift, open your hearts and receive. Sigo. Achikan. Atatara tokoyata. Ashara tiyoshoku. Ah. It's making this beautiful infinity flame, clearing old energies that no longer serve, all the way down to the cell level that no longer serves us. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your lessons. Rashukunai. God. Shikiru. Niro tono ishiki otono. Akiara chiratea. Nani rotonia kune sukona ia. And now I see the shimmering green bath of light coming, pouring all over us, pouring all over Gaia. Oh. She's so happy. I love her too. Shakira Tona. The golden shimmering codes coming down through our star chakras. Some are geometric. Some are languages familiar and some are languages unknown. Galactic.
Yeah, and I think
everybody has their own special link. Sana. There's so many. We got fairies. We've got.
That's what I was guessing. They're fairies. That's the dialect of the fairies.
Oh my gosh, they're
Elemental beings.
like little pixies and little gold dust under their feet. They're just like little conductors with their wand.
They're the cousins of the dragons from the elemental realm.
Thank you, Daryl. I didn't know that. Shakira, thank you.
Oh, you're talking Samaritan there, Chris. That's Samaritan.
Water over the forehead of each. Lots of osprey, falcons, and eagles is the baptism, the initiation. Yes, this of water. The codes, the water, the codes, it's more codes. Ishikia, the codes in the water. Orotokona, Isikia, Chukono. Yeah, I'm excited about Lake Titicaca. This is not normal water. This it's
Yes, it's the water of Lake Titicaca.
Yeah,
It's the water of Gaia's navel.
It just connected. I was seeing some like ruins underwater. Like it wasn't. I was. Okay.
There's a crystalline city under the waters of Lake Titicaca.
And the white had a dragon is swimming.
Yeah,
Just
I asked that
doing
and go swimming with us
backstrokes,
and make Titty
moving the tail in the water, like yeah. Rotokunai, Diki, Shiro, Togana, it's Akari, Shiki, yeah, Siki, yeah. I feel like we each have one of her. We have a head of the Iro Shikiro Tokuna, it's Akana, Sikiro Tono, Siki. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Rochukona. Sukona, Rakonisiki. It's funny, Daryl. I'm starting to see this like on like at a play, and like a play, a musical. I'm actually seeing these dark midnight blue curtains. They're coming, they're lowering. It's like the end of the scene. It's weird. It's sort of everything is calming down and just
Yeah, I'm sensing that too. So I think we're gonna close out the energy and for people to just let the paint dry, in that you have all received codes into your body, and accept it with love and gratitude, and let it settle into your open heart, and let you share your heart with the world. So with that, we're just going to close it out in silence and know that we all know each other, we all love each other, and that we're all one.